Hello everybody, my name is Kara, and today I'm here with a really exciting Readathon announcement. So I'm here to announce the Middle Grade Magic Readathon that will be taking place from July 14th through July 24th. And as you can probably guess by the name, this is a readathon all about reading and celebrating middle grade books. And I have three wonderful co-hosts joining me. They're Yvette from Bookcade, Kier from Kier the Scrivener, and Kelly from Cozy Reader Kelly. And I will of course link all of their information below and their announcement videos as soon as they are up. And the aim of this readathon is really to promote middle grade literature. There are some amazing books out there that I think don't always get the attention they deserve because of some assumptions about the kind of grouping of middle grade books. So that's why I decided it'd be really fun to theme this readathon around some of those kind of misconceptions that people might have about middle grade books that might stop them from picking them up. So that's what all of the optional challenges are going to be themed around. But in general, we really want this readathon to be a way to maybe bring people into reading middle grade books who haven't tried them before, who maybe don't know where to start, or they didn't think it was necessarily for them. Or if you're already a fan of middle grade books, then this is a great way to kind of spread the love and to kind of share recommendations and get excited about some middle grade books. And we also want this readathon to be very accessible no matter what your favorite genre or kind of book is. From fantasy to nonfiction, there are definitely some books out there that are classified as middle grade that you could really enjoy. So now onto the challenges, and again, these are completely optional. If you would like to ignore them completely, feel free to do that. If you would like to double up books on challenges, we highly encourage that. But this is just kind of a fun way to focus your TBR if you're not sure where to start. The first challenge is find your favorite, and the myth associated with that is that middle grade is a genre, and it's actually not. It's an age range or an age classification of books. So for this challenge, you are to read a middle grade novel in your favorite genre, and feel free to interpret this loosely, like classic novels are not technically a genre either, but read a children's classic if you would like to. The second challenge is sugar and spice, and that myth is kind of that middle grade is always light and fluffy and sugary. And the challenge for that one is to read a middle grade novel that handles a dark or serious topic. And though this says dark, it doesn't necessarily have to be something sad. So yes, you could pick a book that has to do with grief, but you could also pick something that has to do with like feminism in a middle grade context, or LGBT plus identity, things like that. The third challenge is boosting voices, and that is based around the myth that middle grade is homogenous in terms of the backgrounds and perspectives represented. And that's actually not true. Middle grade is making some amazing strides in incorporating diverse voices. So in order to help that trend continue, we should support the work that is already being done. So that challenge is to read an Ownvoices middle grade book. And in case you aren't familiar with the term, Ownvoices means that the author is writing from a marginalized perspective that they share with their character. The fourth challenge is bend the rules. That is based on the assumption that middle grade has a non-negotiable set of characteristics, and that's really not true. It seems really difficult to narrow down a really specific definition of middle grade books, and I think the fact that it is so hard to find a definition that everyone agrees on really goes to show that classifying books solely or primarily based on age range rather than genre or content is maybe not the way to go, because it's hard to agree on a set of characteristics. So some commonly used definitions are that the main character is between 11 and 14 years old. A lot of people tend to associate middle grade with a simplistic writing style, and a lot of people, this kind of goes back to another challenge, tend to assume that middle grade is always like light and sweet and fluffy, and it doesn't get too dark or too serious in the plot. If you can think of another definition that you have heard for middle grade that you think maybe isn't quite true, then feel free to use that for this challenge. This challenge is to read a book that bends one or more of these rules of middle grade. Now for this challenge, you might end up reading a book that might not be classified as middle grade depending on which definition you use, and that is 100% fine. That's kind of the point of this challenge, is to show that there's a lot of overlap in between age categories, and it can be hard to pin down a book exactly. And another thing about this challenge is this one might be a little bit easier if you have read some middle grade before, but it's a very, very open challenge. So hopefully if you are a beginner when it comes to middle grade books, you'll still be able to find something that qualifies. And finally, the fifth and last challenge is reader's choice. And that's based on the assumption or the stereotype that middle grade is only for kids. And as you can tell by this readathon and the fact that all of us who are running it are adults, middle grade is not just for kids. It's wonderful when young kids read middle grade, it's wonderful when adults read middle grade, and it's also wonderful when teenagers read middle grade. Basically, everybody can benefit from reading these kinds of stories. A good book is a good book, and it shouldn't matter who the target audience is as long as you're up for the content involved. And the challenge for this one is to choose any middle grade book that you are excited about reading. So again, these challenges are completely optional. We really want this readathon to be really low-key and relaxing and fun. If you like to use challenges, we hope that you'll have fun with them, but if you just want to read like one middle grade book during the readathon, then you have officially participated and won the readathon. Stay tuned for our TBR videos, and some of the hosts, we are also going to be doing some middle grade recommendations videos if you want some help picking your TBR, so keep an eye out for those as well. We are going to set up an official Twitter, so make sure you tag us in any posts about the readathon or about what you're reading. And again, all of the information, all of my co-hosts' information and everything will be in the description box, so be sure to check that out. If you guys can't tell, I am really, really excited about this readathon. It is a subject that is extremely close to my heart, that I'm very passionate about, so I really hope you guys will join in. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you soon with another video, and I hope you love the next book you read. Bye!